We rejoin our friend and semi-hero Roger Wilco as he rockets back toward his home planet Xenon, which he hasn't seen since Space Quest II. Having successfully rescued those two ingrates from Andromeda, he decides a pit stop on Magmethius is in order. During the descent to this cosmic canteen, he is unaware of the interest that has been generated regarding his fate.
Confirmation of his position, Master.
Off to Magmethius with you, then. It is time for Wilco to meet the fate which I have crafted for him.
As our story begins, we find the aluminum mallard parked outside a seedy spaceport bar. We join Roger as he relates one of his greatly exaggerated tales of adventure. The aliens are only too happy to listen, as long as Roger is by.
See, there was this deadly root monster, a ferocious swamp creature, and a Labion terror beast to contend with. Then I had to outsmart another of Vohaul's gorillas and steal the shuttle so I could penetrate the asteroid fortress and pull the plug on that corpulent creep once and for all.
Are you Roger Wilco?
Yeah.
Please come with me.
Hello, Roger Wilco. Surprised to see an old friend? You have no idea how special this moment is for me. This is no chance encounter, I can assure you. I have this one loose end to tie up before I begin my reign as the supreme being of all that exists. I do not like to lose. You are a blemish on what would otherwise be a perfect record of domination, terror, and invincibility. Besides, I'm still a bit miffed about that asteroid deal in Space Quest II. Anyway, to relieve the pain of my humiliation and to prevent you from being a pain in my future, you must die. It's been nice seeing you one last time. Then, do the dirty deed.
You go left and split them up. Mr. Wilco, follow me and do exactly as I say. Let's move!
Hey, I want to know what the...
Listen, I can't explain it all to you now. They've got a beat on our coordinates. We've got to move fast. We gotta do this fast. Shield your eyes! Jump into the time rip! Do it now! You've got to! If I take the time to explain, we're both parking lot pizza. You'll understand soon.
Now where am I? You wonder aloud to non-existent auditory organs. This place sure looks homey. Hey, wait, this looks just like Xenon. It is Xenon. It's really a pile. Along with the changes induced by an armed conflict, the city looks different, more modern, with a heavy dash of post-disaster seasoning. Casually glancing at the status line, you happen to notice that you're in Space Quest XII. What's happened? Who was that guy with the overdeveloped hairdryer? Why did you let yourself be talked into jumping into some strange shimmering hole? Why are you talking to yourself? These incredibly intriguing questions will quickly be forgotten with barely an electron stirred in that well-armored orb atop your shoulders. It's you, Roger Wilco, Space Guy. Hey, keep your hands off yourself. This is a family game. You talk to yourself, but are stumped for a reply. Ah, the aroma of several adventure games emanates from your person. I'll bet you wish you could. You are in the southern area of a rare clearing in this destroyed cityscape. Your home, as you remember it, does not exist in this period of time. A huge boil of a structure clogs the horizon. You inhale deeply and detect the aroma of very old traffic. You lick a thick smear of filth off the street. Finding the taste unpleasant, you quickly swallow it. What a smart person you are. A twisted and broken expanse of cityscape stretches south from here, negating possible travel plans in that direction. The rubble is rough and jagged. No sense in risking injury this early in the adventure. We'll get to that in due time. You'd better not. Something might answer. The snappy scent of freshly chopped buildings fills the air. The wreckage left by the destruction of the entire Xenon civilization tastes a little like some ancient ruins you once sampled. Decaying and destroyed buildings now house the apparently non-existent population of Xenon. You'll have to be closer to the buildings to give them a really good smell. A real man would actually walk up to a building if he wanted to taste it. The large structure in the background captures your curiosity. The prevailing noxious wind prevents this. More rubble can be seen to the north. The direction of the prevailing breezes prevents any hint of aroma. Even when you were younger, way back in Space Quest I, you couldn't have pulled that off at this distance. A brightly colored mechanical hair wanders about. It's too cool to talk to you. The hare, anticipating your clumsy attempt to catch it in the open barehanded, won't come anywhere near you. More high-speed travel surface lies useless. It smells like something that wasn't designed for noses.
Ugh. That was a bitter section. I don't think I want to lick the road around here anymore.
A sidewalk anyone would be proud to own. This section of the sidewalk still smells fresh after hundreds of years. There's nothing like fresh air and sunshine to make a sidewalk taste great. This sealed, battered building is the last one standing in the southwestern area. The place is a mess. Dangerous terrain prevents travel to the south. The rubble is too hazardous to attempt passage over. It smells a little like pebbles and a little like the rubbles. It tastes like a cement milkshake, only crunchy. A quick inspection reveals nothing of interest other than a glove box. The interior of the air car sports many broken gauges and instruments, as well as a glove box. It is a closed glove box. You can't do that. Keep your hands to yourself. It looks like a genuine Pocket Pal portable terminal. After taking a quick look around to reassure yourself that the place is as dead as it looks, you snitch the Pocket Pal laptop. The glove box is empty. The zesty tang of nitroglycerin fills the air around the ship. It tastes like ship. It's a safe bet the tank had something to do with the end of traffic on this thoroughfare. The pavement has lost that wonderful wet tar smell you loved so much as a kid. Okay, you scrape some taste buds off onto the street. The structural warpage and the enormous gaping hole indicate a violent end for this corroding battle machine. It smells exactly like the hull of a useless, burnt-out battle vehicle. It needs salt. This is the interior of a battle-scarred tank. A piece of unstable ordnance rests in the corner. Surprisingly, no one has taken this small, innocuous-looking piece of unstable ordnance. Okay, you now have the unstable ordnance. Remember, it was your idea. Good luck. Droid or death? One thing this society can say is that no citizen lives on the streets. In fact, nothing seems to live anywhere. This place is definitely DOA. The smell of devastation is everywhere. The taste of devastation is everywhere. This is the only form of actual life that you've seen here. Its clothes are tattered, and a grotesque metal contraption is clamped to its head, which serves to hold the eyelids permanently open. He seems to be unaware of your existence, as though he is controlled by some other consciousness. Being downwind of the cyborg, you are very aware that it smells like a slice of luncheon meat that's been walking around in the sun too long. Not with your tongue. Another of Xenon's ruined structures awaits the final slow assault of nature. The building is inaccessible. It smells like hundreds of sweaty public servants once populated this building. It tastes about like you'd expect it to taste, given how it smells. A battered and boarded purple building stands silently now. A piece of unstable ordnance. A very wise choice. Carefully placing the unstable ordnance back inside the tank, you decide some things are better left alone. You are in the northwest corner of the rubble-choked streets of Xenon. The rich aroma of hover car exhaust fills your sinuses. It tastes like you've just scraped your tongue to shreds on the pavement. It looks like a surface suited for foot travel. It smells mostly of dust and dirt. It tastes like all the other sidewalks you've ever tasted, weirdo. The old Bank of Xenon building held up fairly well. Too bad. They turned Roger down for a loan once. Forget it. The doors and windows have been sealed with welded steel plating. It smells like old money and new rust. Okay, you get your last licks on the bank. A hazardous accumulation of unstructured structures blocks safe passage to the north. The rubble is rough and jagged. No sense in risking injury this early in the adventure. We'll get to that later. There's nothing like coating your lungs with rubble dust to get your adventure off to a great start. It tastes okay, but you generally prefer your rubble extra chunky. You are at the northern boundary of a clearing in the midst of a battle-scarred city. An ominous-looking building is the only thing in sight which might contain life. The clearing ends here. Jagged chunks of debris clog the north. The rubble is rough and jagged. No sense in risking injury this early in the adventure. We'll get to that later. It smells like the remains of a flourishing civilization blasted to smithereens by an evil entity of immense power. It doesn't taste half bad, considering what it smells like. Creases from tank treads, craters from incoming ordnance, and gouges from fallen debris are the only deviations in an otherwise smooth surface. It has that unmistakably tangy aroma of pressure-treated petrochemicals. The taste of the street brings to mind all those wonderful times as a child that the local bully ground your face into the asphalt. In the distance, the skeletal remains of once proud structures jut weakly into the chemical-laden atmosphere. The ruined buildings smell of death and destruction. If your tongue were that long, well, you can guess the rest. The large structure in the background captures your curiosity. It smells like trouble. What's going on in there? Nobody can reach that building from here with their tongue unless they're in a Leisure Suit Larry game. There seems to be some light pouring through a row of 3 openings high up in the face of the distant structure. As is often the case in road design, many features were left out to make it a hazard-free experience. The rubble is rough and jagged. Your species wasn't designed to traverse this kind of terrain. A featureless, dirty white structure fills space to the east. I think we're looking at your basic surface transportation intersection. It doesn't exactly smell April fresh. It's not as big a taste sensation as other parts of the city. You stand centrally located in perhaps the only debris-clear area on the surface of this city. This was a busy intersection of commerce when times were happier and life, well, just existed. An odd structure looms in the distance. You see a rubble barrier to the north. A once prosperous bank building stands partially wrecked and sealed shut. The relatively undamaged building shows no entrances. You are at the eastern boundary of a clearing in this ruined city. Passage to the east is impossible due to a great void in the landscape. Huge supports miraculously still do just that to these buildings. A battered and boarded storefront shows the wear and tear a little war can inflict. The building is closed up with welded metal panels. A large void indicates the absence of any dense matter. Don't mess with it. As is so often the case with voids, there is nothing to smell. As is so often the case with voids, there is nothing to taste. A fluid-looking mass lying in the gutter is actually crystallized toxic runoff. It's definitely the most nauseating thing to taste in the whole non-liquid liquid family of tastes. The grate is anchored securely by bolts with mildly corroded heads. The bolted-down grate won't budge. The cool, rank smell of a sewer wafts up from underground. Okay, you taste great and find it less filling. This grate has crud, gunk, and sludge built up around the edges. You can see through the grate, but can't make anything out. You've reached the sewer maintenance office. Apparently this office has been long abandoned. Your janitorial instincts urge you to sweep up and do a little dusting, but you suppress those urges and concentrate on the task at hand. The smell down here isn't as bad as you thought. You notice the shadow cast on the wall by the inaccessible grate above. A variety of pipes, coolant, and otherwise pass in, through, and around the room. They're well affixed. The strange little pedestal has wires running between it and the wall. This heavy-gauge wire disappears into the wall. They won't come loose. The desk is not exactly executive caliber. It's an empty jar with a lid, neither of which does anything entertaining. You take the jar into custody. It's just an average old-fashioned desk blotter. Ah, a button. Perhaps I'll give it a press.
Data entry 22795. This message is to whomever may be so fortunate as to find it. I am Professor Lloyd, lead designer of the Xenon supercomputer project, the ultimate in artificial intelligence. The computer was designed to enhance our lives, but instead ended up being the ruin of us all. We made the mistake of tying it into the most important facets of our existence here on Xenon, including our weather control and defense systems. It seemed like a sound idea at the time, and all proceeded well for about 3 years. It was around then that a deep space salvage operation recovered what appeared to be some sort of antiquated data storage unit contained in a flimsy cardboard box on which the words Leisure Suit Larry were imprinted. On its back was the picture of a not particularly wholesome gentleman, but that's another story. My counterparts exhibited shameful behavior as they tore open the box to get at its contents. I could not understand the commotion it generated. The data was uploaded into the supercomputer for analysis. As a result, a crippling virus spread through the machine like a bad social disease. All control of the computer was lost. All screens went blank. Then these words were displayed by the monitors and uttered by the vocal outputs. Wilco must pay. From that day forth, the possessed computer waged war on the inhabitants of Xenon, using our own weapons against us. Some managed to escape to other planets. Those of us who remained stayed to fight the machines and robots under its control. It was a bloody war. Those of us that were not killed were taken captive and modified. These cyborgs infiltrated the loyal ranks of resistance, rooting out almost all of our hiding places and exposing us to the mechanical menace. Some of these poor souls still wander the streets. As of this recording, we are down to only a handful of rebels. My health is deteriorating rapidly. To make matters worse, I've just learned that the computer has unraveled the mysteries of time travel. I've sent my 2 best men to attempt to steal this new technology. If you are not a machine, then perhaps they were successful. Please realize, you are Xenon's last hope.
Nothing happens. There's an open hatch set into a cylindrical structure here. You recognize it as the entrance to the sewer system. You realize that this is the only way out, so you decide to leave it open. Oh no! The door has shut, and there's no way back. What are you going to do now? This is a section of the Xenon sewer system. Fortunately, there seems to be very little of the secret ingredient usually associated with sewers. The stench lingering in this sewer reminds you of your clothes hamper. This rough area tastes strangely like blood. Oh, that is blood. You shredded your tongue. Your mother should have warned you about licking strange areas. This hatch, locked from the other side, was your portal to this area. This hatch opens from the other side only. Nobody can hear you through the thick door. The pipes running along the sides of this conduit are coated in inert slime. You really don't want to touch the slime-laden pipes. Your nostrils flare as you inhale the fragrant aroma of cold steel with just a hint of sewage. The corrosive effect of the slimy pipes reduces your tongue to a stump. Now you truly are tasteless. There's a small vent set into the side of the sewer tunnel. Unfortunately, it looks way too narrow for a space janitor, even a skinny one, to squeeze inside. You really don't want to touch the slime-laden pipes. You can't quite reach the vent. Your nose isn't long enough to reach the vent. Your tongue won't reach up there. You see some dripping, oozing stuff. There's nothing you could do with the dripping liquid. A blob of slime has gained an attraction for you. Is the green, viscous, congealed wad of vile helper bent on your destruction? Or is it just a friendly puddle of scum looking for a new friend? Dare you find out? What were you expecting? Lime slime? You notice a burning sensation when you get a strong whiff. You taste a tiny bit of the green slime. Instantly, several recent fillings dissolve into a puddle of silver amalgam. You have an empty jar. The slime's already too far away. Perhaps it's a personal hygiene problem on your part. Okay. You scoop up the slimy secretion. Better get away now before it scoops you up. A sturdy metal ladder is attached to the wall here. At the top of the ladder, there appears to be something resembling the underside of a manhole cover. You have a low-level view of the street from your manhole perch. A sleek patrol transport occupies the area presently. There's that green building again. The manhole cover is simply an incredibly heavy slab of metal trying to tamp you back into the tube. Your head is unusually well suited to serve as a manhole cover coaster. You look at the finely sculpted ship. It looks to have been designed for atmospheric operation, probably used solely for patrol excursions. Your pockets aren't big enough. The dust kicked up by the retros, the heavy stench of burning fuel, and the sharp smell of electricity make for a unique olfactory extravaganza. You sear your tongue on the hot metal. Apparently, it's only safe to touch the now exposed area beneath the landing gear housing flap. This is a landing gear assembly. It currently supports the ship. This seems to be a relatively spacious landing gear compartment. Wonder how cramped it gets in there when the gear is stowed. This is the middle section of the supercomputer's landing bay. The ship you hitched a ride on rests here. From this vantage point, high above Xenon, you can truly appreciate the scope of the destruction. What a mess. This is the patrol shuttle you hitched a ride on. This is the shuttle's landing gear. This is a fueling unit for the patrol shuttle.
I've just completed a scan of the Labion sector of Space Quest II. No sign of presence at this time.
May I see that sight? Because I won't be like Zagold.
You are in the supercomputer's landing bay. Here you see the Sequel Police Dispatch Terminal. It looks to be a sealed, reinforced structure which houses dispatch communications and monitoring equipment. You can't actually see those. You just think you can. You're understandably curious as to the purpose of the large red sphere. I'm sorry, but I just don't know myself. You look quickly, careful not to attract any attention. As you can see, they are carrying weapons. You give the time pod a long glance. It's not the most attractive vehicle you've ever seen. It resembles an overgrown titanium tennis shoe. A gold-tinted glass shield seals the top. You look out at the city you were born in decades ago. You're sure glad you weren't there when this devastation happened. You might have gotten hurt. On the bright side, you won't have to pay those delinquent traffic tickets. You're sitting inside a time machine, remember? That button opens the canopy. A standard time pod headrest. Not very comfortable, but the regular operators have metal heads, so it's not a concern for them. That's your head, Roger. Now use it for something. It's some sort of monitor, probably used to monitor something or other. This is a small panel which provides access to the innards of the time pod. If you have a 3P223 4QR access panel wrench, that is. It's a large compartment that's probably full of instruction manuals, code books, time maps, and the like. Too bad it's also locked. The readout displays some interesting symbols similar to those on the keypad. You wonder if these might bear some significance. It's a button with a strange symbol on it. You vaguely remember these symbols from your 5th grade time theory class with crazy Mrs. Drimple. Ent must be a secret code. Perhaps it means self-destruct, or maybe change return. The time pod's interior feels smooth and cool to the touch. The time pod's headrest is non-adjustable. Evidently, sequel pulleys are all the same height. Scratching your head doesn't make it work any better. It only loosens unsightly dandruff. The small access panel is inaccessible. The large compartment doesn't actually open. It was the I Love Lunacy show. You must have briefly tuned into the electronic entrails of some long-lost civilization. The powerful quad quark drives Rev to life. Time and space bend under the fibrillations of the time-rip transfluxers. Your adrenaline and stomach reel with the hyperbolic hyperbole. And finally... This view provides a flashback to a recent adventure. It looks real hot out there. Hot enough for thermo-weave underwear. The powerful quad quark drives Rev to life. Time and space bend under the fibrillations of the time-rip transfluxers. Your adrenaline and stomach reel with the hyperbolic hyperbole. And finally... Peering through the port, you see an unusual land. Its wind-carved pinnacles and buttes bring back memories of the planet Corona, where this whole adventure mess started. Your high-tech but ugly pod stands ready to ride the wild plains of time. The smells of stressed carbon fiber, cooling engines, and ozone fill the air. Tasting the cooling time pod would not be a good idea. You've seen a lot of plateaus and sloping hills before, but this one's a butte. The entire horizon undulates in enticing peaks, curves, and crevices for which Estros is famous. The shale-like shelves provide a stairway to the unknown.
Whoa! What was that?
As you look around at the towering rocks, immense formations carved over millions of years, you can't help but be overwhelmed by a sense of your own insignificance. Sedimentary layers of rock form a stairway which winds its way down below. A mysterious shadow quickly moves from your view. You get the feeling you're not alone here.
Hello!
All around you stretch the stony outcroppings of the Estros Buttes. A slender spire of angry red rock arches its way upward, poking searchingly into the sky and plunging down into the beautiful canyons of Estros. What lovely scenery! You're surrounded by spires of sand and rock. The ravages of wind, water, and time have exposed strata in the butte, which serve as steps to other areas. Far below, the waters of Estros beckon to you. The water here is quite deep. Here at the base of the buttes lies the legendary Sea of Estros. The shimmering crystal clear water is calm and inviting, giving no hint of the currents that could suck you under fast enough to pull your skin off and leave your insides standing on the shore. We could show you that, but it would be in bad taste. Meanwhile, on another part of the planet. Oh no, the sequel police.
Let's split up. I'll check out Wilco's time pod. Our sensors picked up some movement near there. Yeah, Wilco's around here somewhere. I'll search the vicinity.
This is Delfoy. You there, Buford? I found Wilco. Repeat, I found Wilco.
Wow, what an incredible view! You look pretty pathetic hanging under the pterodactyl. You see a huge nest in the distance below you. Hey, those talon things hurt. You didn't much care for the landing either. You find yourself in a nest perched high above the irregular surface of this butte-laden planet. The huge nest is constructed of sticks and assorted being parts gathered from this bleak planet. It is then cemented in place by a generous helping of pterodactyl saliva. The inedible portions of the pterodactyl's previous meals lie scattered about the nest. My. Rather than the sequel policeman penetrating the inner sanctum of the nest, the reverse obviously occurred. You frisk the skewered sequel policeman and turn up a paper-wrapped wad of used chewing gum. What do you want? A bone marrow sample? You've already cleaned the guy's pockets. Right now, the sequel policeman has no distinct smell. But give him a few days and he'll be quite aromatic, not to mention plumped up like a ballpark Frank. Take it from someone who knows sick. Licking corpses is going way beyond simple dementia. Get a grip, pal. It looks as though another unfortunate adventurer is suffering a similar fate. You notice a small breach in the side of the nest.
You've got a lot of nerve coming back here, Roger Wilco. After leaving me the way you did, you male scum. This is the last woman you'll ever dump on. Right, girls?
Right.
Said you couldn't be tied down.
I said that?
You said you had to be free to roam the galaxy.
Was that me?
You You'll be sorrier than you look. We'll see to that.
Yeah.
Into the sub, flyboy.
The submarine has a sporty look to it, distinctly hydrodynamic compared to those fine vessels you've traveled aboard recently. She looks like she might be familiar to you someday. However, the gun in her hand looks like it could limit the chance of any lasting relationship in the future, or the past. This one looks committed to finding out just how good you'd look on a spit. Her spear gun is pointed in a direction that eliminates any need for second thought. The time for talk on your part appears to have passed. Speak now, and forever hold your pieces. She looks completely uninterested in conversing with the likes of you. This is not a good time for vessel sniffing. You can bet she smells better than you. Better just speculate on this one, or you'll be snorting spear. This would be an excellent time to keep your nostrils to yourself. It's not a good time to slap the old buds on barnacles. Best to keep your taste buds packed away right now, buckwheat. Gee, maybe you should walk right on up to her and give it a try. Not... Yeah, right. This is a sea cave. You hope these women soon realize that they must have the wrong guy. The propellers thrust the small sub deeper and deeper into the dark tunnel. A spotlight illuminates the floor of the cave as the sub makes its way through the eerie darkness. What have I stepped into this time? You think to yourself, as the Latex Babes submarine makes its way through the eerie blackness.
This is Zandra. We are approaching checkpoint 6. Prepare to open the tunnel door. Activate the door.
You hope these women soon realize that they must have the wrong guy. You wonder if she has a boyfriend. It looks like they have quite a fortress here.
Sit down.
Comfy, Mr. Wilco?
Hey, what are you doing? Let me go, witch.
Shut up. Your whimpering sickens me. I'll teach you not to run out on me. Thorine is quite knowledgeable in the ways of torture. I'll let the two of you get acquainted. Thorine, do your stuff.
With pleasure, Zandra. Let me introduce you to a friend of mine. This is Epirip 357, the most powerful hand hair remover in the universe, and it's capable of shaving your legs clean off. I've always wanted to see a man shave with one of these, but I guess you'll do. Now you'll know the meaning of the word pain. It's a sea slug! Run, girls!
You are in a crude, state-of-the-art sea cave. Hot lights glare in your face, making you very uncomfortable. Shiny stainless steel instruments cover the surgical tray. Some of them look vaguely familiar as veterinary instruments. This switch activates a laser. This isn't your garden variety, slug. This place is like a brick ship house. You see what looks like highly pressurized oxygen tanks.
Our hero!
Wasn't he great, girls? Well, Raj, I guess we can call it even. Thank you for ridding our fortress of that slimy, awful sea slug. I know I can't blame you for backing out at the last minute. I guess I was a little overbearing. Sorry. Can we still be good friends?
Well, now, wait a minute. Let's talk about this.
No, Roger, you were right. You don't need to spare my feelings. It just wasn't meant to be. It's better this way. Well, girls, I feel like celebrating. Let's go shopping!
Meanwhile, back in Space Quest XII...
Well, what have we here?
This is the rebel scum we captured in the Space Quest IV time sector. He had just aided Wilco in escaping. The readout on his time gun indicates that Wilco was successfully transported into this time sector as you feared.
That is no longer a concern. Wilco will surrender to us once he has learned we have captured his son. Then he will be destroyed once and for all.